Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. It's a beautiful week because on this week, we're gonna hit 300 episodes of GMM. And so I just want to start the show off by quickly saying thank you. I appreciate you for supporting me and believing in me. This little show started out of me having a bad day and being like, whatever, I'm just gonna make a show about Mario, my favorite character. And now 300 episodes later, it is the pillar, the central thing of SwitchForce and become my greatest joy that I think I've ever done on YouTube. And I appreciate all of you being here. We have created such a fun, awesome, positive community, and it's only gonna get better. So stay tuned for 300 later this week. In the meantime, what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you had a lovely weekend and hope you're ready to kick butt on Monday with a little bit of oomph. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's jump straight in. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's a happy, fun, positive place to be. And let me know what you think about all this insanity in the comments down below. We're gonna kick it straight off with the big kahuna because we woke up this morning and we saw video games are just moving. They're just moving and buying and selling and moving, and what? Embracer Group is a big conglomerate. They just like to buy everybody up. All right, they own so many different studios and so many IP. They're kind of like a grandma. They have a lot of grandkids and they're running all over the country, all over the world actually. And they just bought some really sweet IP. And I think this is interesting from a what the heck is Square Enix doing standpoint and a oh my gosh, okay, these IP now could be more focused on Nintendo Switch. Because Square Enix didn't seem too interested in Nintendo Switch with a lot of their games not named JRPGs, but maybe Embracer Group is. So the nitty gritty here is that Embracer Group bought Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal. I'm getting choked up. There's so many good studios here. Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, along with a catalog of IPs including Tomb Raider, Legacy of Kain, Deus Ex, Thief, and more. Now the big ones there are obviously Deus Ex and Tomb Raider. That's a lot of game. That's a lot of good stuff. And they say that they have 50 other back catalog games that they now own. And they're gonna be making new games in these franchises, and they got it all for $300 million. It's a lot of money for you and me, but in terms of game sales, it pales in comparison to what Microsoft paid for Activision Blizzard, and it even pales in comparison for what Embracer recently spent on Gearbox, which was $1.3 billion. So for less than a quarter of that, they got all these different IP. Pretty wild, and it makes you wonder, what is Square Enix doing? I guess they just want to make Final Fantasy forever, and that's it. And it sounds like they might be paring down to sell themselves, if you believe what Jeff Grubb has been reporting this morning, that you think Square Enix might be setting up to sell to somebody else. Oh wait, I haven't told you the best part of this entire ordeal. Square Enix says they're going to use this money, $300 million, to spend on blockchain, AI, and the cloud. They're using this money for NFTs, baby. They traded Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and these, by all accounts, really cool studios to make some JPEGs. All right, I know Square Enix has not been super happy with some of the sales figures from these studios, but they have strange expectations. Tomb Raider is a big successful franchise, and these studios produce pretty cool games. Yes, the whole Marvel debacle with the Avengers was a bummer and mishandled tremendously, but doing all this for blockchain? I don't think that's the move, and I can't imagine any Square Enix fans agree that's the move either. Now, for us, I think the big deal here is that Embracer will want to spread these IP, okay? It wasn't bought by Microsoft, it wasn't bought by Sony, and some may find that odd, like for $300 million, Xbox or PlayStation could have owned Tomb Raider, owned Deus Ex, owned Legacy of Kain. They didn't do it. Not really sure exactly why. I'd imagine Microsoft is caught up in their acquisitions and don't want to screw that up. I don't know why Sony wouldn't have done it, but maybe Sony's gonna buy Square Enix, aka Final Fantasy Enix, and they're gonna run that way since we know that FF16 is a PlayStation exclusive, but no matter. I believe that we could now see Tomb Raider and Deus Ex come to the Switch. I'm talking about old games being ported over so Embracer can make some quick cash, and maybe new games as well. If you're Embracer Group and you're smart, which I think they are in the way they acquire stuff, you would not leave out the 100 million Switch owners when you just got this fertile, ripe, yummy tomato of new delicious IP. take a bite and share it with us. Me personally, I love to see Deus Ex come back. I thought the last 2 games were absolutely excellent, and Tomb Raider, there's a lot to mine there. I really enjoyed the rebooted Tomb Raider trilogy, and I'd be down to even just get that ported on to a portable OLED platform. Let's also not forget the human element here. All right, obviously Lara Croft and Adam Jensen are the focus, but there's a lot of people that's lives will be affected, okay? Whether they end up getting fired, let go, having to transfer, change. It is a stressful time for many involved, so I just didn't want to leave that part out. As much as the game studios changing hands are exciting and interesting, there's humans involved, and for them, this probably isn't a fun day, so be nice out there if you can. Let me know in the comments down below which games you'd be most excited to see get a new entry, and let's now talk about another game getting a new entry that I'm much more concerned about. 3 cheers to Nintendo for making Splatoon 3, but oh my gosh, are they making the biggest mistake? Thus far, we've seen Splatoon 3 look almost identical to Splatoon 2. And the more and more they talk about it, the more and more similar it seems. Take today's tweets, for example. Nintendo is proud to confirm that all the basic weapons from previous games will be returning in Splatoon 3. I don't know if they think we're excited about this or what, but that's not great news. Everything's the same. I mean, obviously there will be new weapons, and we've seen some really cool ones already revealed, but I don't know that pushing this narrative that everything from before is in the game is a good idea unless you're really hiding something. Nintendo, are you hiding something with Splatoon 3? Is there going to be a big ta-da moment at the Summer Direct in June? Because thus far, Nintendo has nailed it when it comes to their new franchises and sequels on the Switch. I can't even really think of a big misstep yet. They've all been either good, great, or absolutely excellent. Splatoon 2 was a much needed step up from Splatoon 1, but Splatoon 3, are there any new modes? Is there some secret battle royale, a different co-op mode, or something completely new altogether? Because thus far Nintendo has shown that we've got Turf War, we've got all the same weapons, we've got Salmon Run, which looks a lot like Salmon Run, and we have a single player that they refuse to talk about that actually looked interesting. I am very hopeful that there is something lurking at E3 and they're hiding the big part of the game. Because if you are going to market a sequel, a threequel, wouldn't you think it would be smart to lead with the new stuff and not hammer in the old stuff? But that's exactly what Nintendo is doing. They're hammering the old stuff and not talking about any new stuff. And it makes me think that, okay, Nintendo's smart, they've earned the benefit of the doubt, and I don't think they've really flubbed a sequel in many years. So maybe the big piece of this, the most delicious sushi roll, is waiting for us in an upcoming Direct. And maybe we're gonna be like, oh, that's why there's a 3 in Splatoon 3, because thus far, it's like Splatoon 2 DLC. I'm not even gonna call it 2.5, I think that's going too far. It's like some DLC, some new weapons and maps. That's what we've got. We don't know very much about the system. We don't know very much about how it all interweaves together, and we don't know if there's anything new, but I am hopeful. I'm gonna be a voice of hope and say that Nintendo is withholding, and that's why they're just giving you these kind of boring details, because they don't wanna blow the big fish. And I'm hoping that that big fish comes next month at their June Direct. But let me know what you think. Is Splatoon 3 just gonna be boring? Or do you think they've got more in store? Regular updates are something that is so appreciated in today's era, and I love that Nintendo continues to do it with their icons. I know this isn't the biggest deal of everybody, so let's blow right through it. We had Mario Odyssey, we obviously have Animal Crossing every month, we just had Kirby, and now for May, we're getting Mario Kart 8 Deluxe icons. So the first wave of them is out there. You can grab some Mario Kart 8 themed stuff for your profile picture, as well as the May Animal Crossing villagers who have birthdays in the next 30 days. This is neat, and I love that Nintendo's doing this, and I'd love to see them add themes. That would make this nearly perfect, but hey, the online is really moving in the right direction. Did you see my video on what Nintendo did? The unthinkable video, you should check it out if you haven't, because there's a lot of good info and details there, but basically, SwitchForce blew everything out of the water. SwitchForce had an insane opening weekend, 8 times that of Just Dance, 6 times that of Ring Fit Adventure, and 2 times the recent Mario Party Superstars, proving that waggle is where it's at once again, and I think this game is gonna go places. Check out that video if you haven't already, and let's move to the poll where I asked you to predict how many copies will this sell. Now, we don't know exactly how many it's sold thus far, but even just physically, it is on the move. And so I think 20 plus million is where it's gonna end up. 30 plus million, I don't know if I'm willing to go that far just because there's so many options, and I'm not sure how long Nintendo will push this for, but I think 20 million is definitely likely. I mean, 15% of you agree with me. The big chunk thinks about 10 million or so, which is still a huge success, but I think this game has legs. I think it's gonna be one that you buy with your Switch, especially if it goes on sale. It's 40 bucks right now, and if this thing hits like 20 around Black Friday, with the golf update coming in around that time, it's just gonna fly off the shelves. I mean, that's like an instant purchase, and I would even lean to say like, yeah, just grab it with your Switch. It's fun for anyone who you encounter that wants to play a game or two. 46% say 10 million, 29% say 5 million, 15, like I said, myself included, say 20, and 10% say 30 million. We'll have to wait a couple of years to see, but I think this first quarter is gonna be crazy for this game, and Nintendo's powerful 2022 continues with me and you. And so I hope to see you all tomorrow on the next GMM as we crawl towards 300. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you're staying safe, staying happy, staying healthy, staying positive out there. Be good to yourself. And until next time, love you lots. SwitchForce out.